Can you just kind of take us through what the past few days have been like for you, and go take us through your decision on Wednesday as well?
Um, Obviously, the past few days have been pretty emotional. Obviously, I wanted to play baseball, but some things are bigger than baseball. At the end of the day, um, we African Americans in this country have been hurting for some time, and I took that day to just to bring awareness.
Dex, we've heard from other people telling us that you felt supported by your teammates, and Jack yesterday said that he encouraged teammates to support you. Did you feel that? Did you feel support from this clubhouse despite the decision to play?
Yeah, I've always felt support in this clubhouse. These guys have come to me and asked questions, had empathy towards the situation, and been proactive and wanting to help. And I guess that's all you can ask for, to be able to have a conversation and to be willing to help at any cost.
Dex, you've been in the league a long time, and this Players Alliance is new. How important is that as a movement, and where do you think baseball is in terms of players being able to speak their minds, maybe relative to the NBA or the NFL at this point?
Obviously, we don't have the majority of the NBA and the NFL are African American. We don't have that luxury, but it's good to we're the Players Alliance has been great. We've all been able to have conversations and bounce things off of each other, and just get all on the same page. And that's great. That's great. Because you never know what's happening in other clubhouses and everywhere else in this world.
Hey, Dex, to piggyback on what Mark asked there, it wasn't too long ago that only one player in baseball took a knee during the national anthem, and now it's more of a widespread conversation, just the protests in general. What do you think has changed, and do you think baseball is kind of maybe joining the other leagues and being more open to such social commentary?
Yeah, I think social media, being able to express ourselves via our social media, via things like Players Alliance, and allowing ourselves to have that voice. I think earlier you weren't able to express yourself as you are today, and I think that's growing, and the generation coming up is definitely changing that.
What was that like for you to watch the Mets game last night with the Marlins? Did you get a chance to see that?
I didn't get a chance to check it out. I had heard about it. Obviously, when I came off the field, obviously we were playing baseball, so I'm not real privy on the situation. But I love to. It looked like a powerful thing they did.
Dex, the specific issue that's kind of being thrust in front of America at the moment involves, the relationship between law enforcement and African Americans. Have you had personal experiences that you would feel comfortable discussing in that regard, or friends, family members?
That's for a whole nother day. I mean, there's obviously there's situations that I've gone through, and there are people who I've talked to about that, and they're privy to the situation. But I mean, that's a whole nother conversation.
Dex, what does it mean to be playing baseball on Jackie Robinson Day, given the recent circumstances here?
You know what, man? It's an honor. It's an honor that we're able to put on the number 42. This is a day that's super emotional to me, and obviously I don't take wearing 42 lightly, especially with the climate nowadays.
Dex, we know that members of the Players Alliance have said that they're going to donate their game checks from yesterday and today. Have you had conversations with anybody else, either in your clubhouse or in the organization, where they've indicated that they're also planning to do that? Have you heard from anyone to that end?
Some guys there's been some rumblings, but that was the reason for me. I stepped away from the game, obviously, on Wednesday, and just to bring awareness and I decided to put my money where my mouth is, and being able to donate my game day's check to, I'm still, shuffling through some organizations, but it's that's part of it. That's part of it. Just to being able to, I have the means to do that, and that's the least I can do.
Hey, Dexter, on the historic night that you did not play, I'm just curious, did you leave the stadium shortly before the game ended? I guess my question is, what was it like driving home knowing the Cardinals were playing? You were heading home, and did you think a lot? What was that moment like for you?
Pretty emotional. Pretty emotional. Driving home, then you get there. Obviously, you want to play baseball. This is what I love to do. This is what I signed up for. This is what I've been doing all my life, and I have fun doing it. But like I said, some things are bigger than baseball, and to do that, it was definitely a tough decision.
Thank you.
Dex, can you take us through that game maybe a little bit? Look, there was a lot of messages going from team to team, player to player, right? I think like Mookie Betts was describing about how he talked to guys on various teams, Jason Hayward. Did you hear from those guys? Was there a lot of conversation leading into your decision?
Not crazy amounts of conversation, but it's that's kind of something that you feel you feel in your heart that needs to happen. You know what I mean? Like I actually the phone call I made, I talked to my dad. I talked to my dad about it, and my dad's obviously been through a lot, and I talked to him about it. He's one of the guys obviously I lean on all the time. So I called him, and he said, I think you're making the right decision. So with that, I went on and did it.
What's next?
Hopefully the conversation keeps going. I think that's important. I think that's the most important thing. People keep having a conversation, and the awareness is out there, and hopefully people, this is a step in the right direction. And it's funny because when I went home and I was watching the game, my daughter, she asked me, she goes, "Daddy, why aren't you playing tonight?" And I had to explain that to her, and she goes, "Well, that's not right." And for a 6-year-old to realize that the difference between right and wrong is definitely hits home.
Dex, correct me if I'm wrong, but our understanding is that your family had been away from you for most of this season so far. If this is the first time in a while that you've seen them, what's the emotion been like of having them here in the midst of all this?
Oh, it's been great. It's been great. It's obviously my wife's somebody I lean on, and she's they're behind me 100%. My wife's a super intelligent lady, and we always go through the avenues of all through different types of scenarios and what goes on, but they've been super ultra supportive of me, and it's good to see my kids in there smiling and hanging out. They don't know what's going on, but it's good to be able to put a smile on my face.